Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The topic which I am going to talk on is virtues of good Muslims, patience. Hazrat Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala quoted, "Patience is a pillar of faith." In Islam, having patience, sabr in Arabic language, comes with many benefits and rewards. Sabr is a word I am sure we have heard many times. The term sabr is translated as patience. Let me tell you, patience is only a very small part of sabr, and it is surprising because we don't really realize the extent of this word. It includes forbearance, endurance, steadfastness, perseverance, restraint, and all this sum up and mean sabr in Arabic language. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us so He could test us. The reason why we are here is to pass the test Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decided to put us through. Patience has a great status inside of Allah Almighty and in Islam. Allah Almighty said in the Holy Quran, "Only those who are patient shall receive their rewards in full, without limit, calculation and estimation." If we want our bond stronger with Allah Almighty, we have to be patient, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised us that He will never leave us alone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, "And be patient, surely Allah is with those who are patient." Allah said to those who are facing difficulties or trials that He is with them by guiding them, by supporting them, by granting them victory. Nowadays, we have distanced ourselves from patience. Maybe this is the reason why people suffer from mental stress, depression, diabetes, blood pressure. Remember, even that so-called wise man falls short of common sense when he gets impatient. Today, our society is heading towards destruction due to being impatient in our worldly and religious affairs. Fights are prevalent, people harbor grudge and enmity. The sleeves are rolled up and they are always ready to fight. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, displayed patience and forbearance during his whole life. Unbelievers caused pain and distress to him. They pelted him with stones, laid thorn on his face, put filth on his blessed body, intimidated him, threatened him, used foul language against him, even conspired to kill him. But our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, only observed patience himself. And not only he observed patience himself, but also taught his followers to observe patience at time of troubles. There is a saying of Prophet, peace be upon him, that comforts. If someone suffers from misery, he should remember my sufferings in relation to his sufferings. Indeed, that is a great of all miseries. There are three major types of sabr that we as Muslims are taught. First is the endurance required in order to fulfill the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second, the restraints required in order to abstain from prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Third is the acceptance of decree of Allah Almighty when calamity comes in our direction. So, these are the three types of patience. A lot of people think that the first one is known as the sabr. Then when something happens, they say, "Bear sabr, my dear brother, bear sabr, my dear sister." No, the reality is, in order to read salah, you need a lot of sabr. You need to endure the cold water, possibly the time, or you need to give up on your sleep. And if you are doing really some work, important work, and you have to leave the work and go to pray in front of Allah Almighty. So you need concentration for that. You need sabr for that, right? In order to abstain from backbiting, you need to restrain yourself. This is known as sabr. When you are happy with whatever Allah has decreed, and if you really want something very bad, but you are not really getting it, and you accept it that maybe Allah has some better plans or Allah knows the best, this is sabr. Islam is the only religion that makes it necessary as a condition to believe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises us He will test us, and already in advance we have declared that we will never compete with the decree of Allah Almighty. A person who loves Allah Almighty finds it much easier to be patient. This is because he or she sees everything come from Allah, and he or she thinks that there must be a reason for it. So many times in our life something happens to us and we feel that worst thing could happen to us. But then after ease comes, we say this happened for something good. So it is important that believers have to be patient. And you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sufficient for us. That is, and what is good for us and what is bad for us, that is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we don't get a reward for patience in this world, then surely it is saved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for hereafter. Now, why do we say inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un when we have some bad news or when we hear somebody's death? The moment we say that, we firstly should understand, we say it as a sign of patience and an acknowledgement. Then Allah is the Almighty and He will not test His worshippers more than they can bear. And secondly, Allah congratulates the one who have sabr and promise reward. Whether the life is individual or collective, or household or social, the book of life is incomplete without patience. Now we need to observe patience all the time. Even if one faces troubles, worries, unreasonable oppositions and grief, the best answer to all of this is patience. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the wealth of patience. Jazakallahu khair.